Hi, this is Savannah,
And this is Brian from the Dorky Diva Show,
and you're listening to Star Wars.
the best place for below average Star Wars.
In a world where people need 80s and 90s movie reviews, two regular Geordies combine forces to bring you the Brother to Brother 80s and 90s movie review podcast. Check them out on Twitter, YouTube, and all decent podcast vendors.
Welcome to Star Wars, best place for below average Star Wars.
Hello there, and welcome to the Star Wars Show, the best place for below average Star Wars. I am the Geordie Jedi Pete, and back again this week is Kat, and back again this week is Iain. Kat, how are you doing?
I'm doing really well, thank you. Glad to have my university exams over so I can be back and talking Star Wars.
Are you ready to catch up on some Star Wars books that you're falling behind on, Kat?
Absolutely, I'm ready to read every Star Wars book out there and forget all my equations and psychology and synapses and everything that comes with my university course for the next few weeks. I definitely want to be back in a galaxy far, far away.
Get all that adult real life stuff, put it in a box, lock it up, and just dive into all the escapism. That's the best way to live your life.
Definitely. I'd like Maz Kanata's box from The Force Awakens of just put all my adult stuff in there and just like lock it away and put it in a really deep part of a castle.
Speaking of boxes, have you seen what's available at Disney parks? You can now get the ice cream machine maker from As Seen in The Empire Strikes Back, and of course the Mandalorian. I think it's called is it a kimono? It's called in Star Wars, where the Beskar bars are inside it.
It's a really cool idea. I actually don't know if it's cheaper to buy the actual ice cream machine from the 80s or to buy this box, but it's a really cool idea.
I definitely want one, but also do not have the room for it, and so I'm sort of happy that it is on the other side of the world where I cannot purchase it.
Oh, that's what
Iain?
forwarding addresses are for.
The shipping costs of that from the USA, I think, would be yes, that puts it out of the price range of me. But I'm sure it's only like under $60 to buy. If I lived there, I would have bought it. Iain, how are you doing, mate? Welcome back.
I'm good, mate. Always nice to talk to you. We obviously followed up from the other day where we spoke. It's good to be back on and talking Star Wars with some people.
Indeed, this is the first time we have Kat and Iain together, so it's going to be a very special episode. This episode is also dedicated to George Lucas. Thank the maker indeed. It was his birthday on Saturday the 14th. George turned 78. Obviously, without George Lucas, we wouldn't have this podcast. None of us would probably be friends and be talking to each other or know about each other. For me, George Lucas is he's an icon. He's a pioneer. He's a legend. He's a visionary. You cannot tell the story of modern cinema without George Lucas. And to me, he's the greatest storyteller of all time. No one will ever take that away from him. And he's also just such a wonderful, nice guy. Does a lot for charity. His kids are adopted. He does a lot for other people. And he goes about his life very quietly. He gives a lot of money to charity, and you don't read about it. It's not from page. He's not giving interviews. He's not on Twitter. He's quite a quiet man. He's one of the richest men in the world, but he's there in his Reebok sneakers. He's there in his checky shirt. He's there in his jeans. He's just George, and he's a wonderful guy. Like I said, he's the greatest storyteller of all time. So happy birthday, George! Thank you for giving us everything that you've given us. Let's dive into our first topic. Kat, have you played the video game Jedi Fallen Order?
I have. I haven't actually finished the game, but I have played quite a bit of it. and I really do love the game. The visuals are just stunning, and the original storyline is just so compelling, following Cal on his journey to outpace the Inquisitors. And it really is probably one of the best Star Wars video games ever made.
Well, I think, instead of reading books, you need to complete this game first because they've announced the sequel. It's called Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Let's go to you, Ian. What's your thoughts when you hear this title?
Oh, many things. Like I said, I've finished Jedi Fallen Order. I loved it. I thought it was a great. I thought it was a great video game. One of my favourites, actually, of all Star Wars games. The Survivor thing is very interesting. I wonder if there'll be a. To be fair, I wonder if it'll be the same set of characters. I do wonder that because they kind of did wrap up the story now, complete at the end of the game. Obviously, I won't spoil it for Kat. What happens at the end of the game? And sorry, the dog was just bloody. And yeah, so the Survivor thing's interesting. I wonder if he'll get into like stealth stuff and that type of thing. Whether you're a Jedi on the run after Order 66, or whether you will still be Cal Kestis and his crew in that type of game.
Yeah, I think for me, the first game, Jedi Fallen Order, was fantastic. For me, when they announced that everything going forward was going to be canon, I was looking forward to that first video game that was going to be story-driven. Obviously, the first video games were Battlefront sort of co-ops, which were fun, but for me, I wanted that story-driven game. When we got that little bit of story in Battlefront 2 with the Inferno Squad, that was fantastic. But, I wanted more. We finally got it with Jedi Fallen Order, and it was absolutely wonderful. I loved playing it. For me, I think this title, Jedi Survivor, I think, Jedi Fallen Order was all about learning about Cal Kestis and what happened to him when the Jedi Order fell and how he dealt with that and how he comes back to being a Jedi, if that makes sense. So I think this Jedi Survivor, it's like, right, he overcome that. He's now a Jedi. Now he's got to survive in this Imperial world. So I love the name. I think it's simple, but I think it's very, very powerful, very emotive. I hope it's still Cal Kestis. I hope we still get Night Sister Merrin. I want to see some co-op missions where maybe you can play as both Cal and Merrin. I want to see some double team moves. I really want to see sort of this Witch of Dathomir teaming up with this Jedi Knight. I think that'll be absolutely wonderful. And obviously, who doesn't want more BD1? The cutest droid ever. Do people agree with that, or have people got a cuter droid?
Oh no, I definitely agree. I think BD1 is so adorable. He's such a great companion. He can do absolutely everything and look cute doing it. He reminds me, he's like the dog version of a droid in Star Wars. I think he's like the dog companion, he's loyal, always there and trying to help you whenever possible. So I always associate him with like a dog-like character. Maybe some people may compare him to a cat, but I'm team BD1. He's like a dog.
He does remind me of my dog, to be fair. When I was playing the game, I thought that's something my dog would do.
There we go. It's settled. He's like a dog, and he's cute, and he is the cutest. Ian, what's your thoughts on sort of what you're wanting from the game, gameplay-wise and story-wise?
Like you, I'd love to play with some different characters as well, whether that's Merrin or Sia or any potential new characters we might meet. I'd like a stealth aspect to the game. If you have to like be on the run from the Imperials, I'd love the stealth element to that, where you can sneak up on people or you have to hide and let people go past and all that type of thing. I think that would bring like a fun dynamic to the game. And obviously, at the end of the first game, someone very important in the Empire is aware of where you are, so I assume you'll be on the run from whoever the Imperial forces that probably will come after you.
Indeed. Kat, are you going to focus on completing the first game now as soon as you can, so you're ready for the second game?
Absolutely. I'm going to have to wrangle my Xbox into submission, though, because I don't know if this is something all Xbox players can relate to, but every time I turn on my Xbox to play, it just wants to update, and it is extremely frustrating. And it's more to do with my console that I haven't finished the game than the actual game.
I'm a PlayStation user, so I don't have those problems.
Well, I've just got the
But
PlayStation 5 to play some of the newer games like Guardians of the Galaxy, and
That's great, by the way. That game's great.
oh, it really is. And I've been playing Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga, which I keep going on about because it is just so good. And yeah, the PS5 has proven to me that Xbox and the updates are definitely sort of a thing of the past. And I'm almost tempted actually to get Jedi Fallen Order for the PS5 just so I can avoid all those annoying updates.
well, I think you're off. No more study until September, right?
Yeah, that is true.
I think you need to buy it for PlayStation 5, get loads of snacks in, and just have a lovely week completing the game.
I am all for this idea. This sounds good.
Ian, how long did it take you to complete the game when you first got it?
I played through it as soon as it came out, to be fair. So it still took me quite a while, though. It must have took me good anywhere between 10 and 15, 10 and 20 hours like to get through it the first time. I've played through it a couple of times since. But it was a really fun part of the game where you obviously I just like to go off exploring. When I was climbing up the Venator on Zephyr, that was a pretty cool level. And so no, I liked it. I liked exploring as well when I played the game.
Yeah, I think the game was beautiful. I think the attention to detail. You'd spend ages, especially on planets that had been using the Clone Wars, so that Venator, when you're just looking at all the different details, the Kashyyyk levels, when you're sort of looking at this little remnants of the Clone Wars there. In certain areas, it was just beautiful to look at. Sometimes I wasn't even looking to even complete the next objective. I was just sort of in awe looking at all the nice little beautiful Easter eggs that were in the game. So yeah. Do you know if they said when we were expecting the game? I know they've given us the title, but have they told when we can expect it?
Said about February, March 2023. Obviously, we have to take that with a huge pinch of salt because the titles that actually hasn't really been revealed officially. It's still been leaked. But yeah, I think they leaked it February or March 2023. So less than a year, which is pretty cool.
I hope that's true because that's not long, and I'm excited to get my hands on a new Star Wars game.
I would assume we would get something at Celebration, or I don't know if they're doing E3 this year, but I assume we would get something soon if it's going to come out the early stage of next year.
Yeah. Moving on from Jedi Survivor, we're going to move on to the Ahsoka television series coming to Disney Plus. They've announced that it's in production with a lovely picture of a director's chair with the Ahsoka logo on, and a world famous cowboy hat on the corner of it, on the set. Kat, first of all, a very simple picture, but a picture that evokes a lot of emotion from Star Wars fans. This series is happening. It's here. They're on set. Production started. We will be getting this live action TV series. What's your thoughts on this weekend seeing that go live?
It was such a tease, and I love the staging of the photo because any Star Wars fan looking at that photo knows exactly what's going on. You've got Dave Filoni's infamous hat on the director's chair, and knowing that he's sort of taking the helm of the Ahsoka series, I've just got so much confidence that it's going to be amazing because Dave Filoni created Ahsoka, and his love for Ahsoka is unparalleled. He is the reason fans now love Ahsoka because he invented this character that so many could connect to, and her journey has been one of the longest actually in Star Wars, only to the Skywalker saga itself, because we've seen her go straight from a tiny Padawan all the way up to almost a Jedi Knight, and now she's completely sort of in her prime as a Force user, and she's got all this wisdom behind her. So the Ahsoka series, I'm just so excited for because Dave is going to just take us on another part of Ahsoka's journey that fans have wanted since the ending of Rebels Season 4.
Ian, we all saw that picture. The show's been announced. We know it's coming. We've seen Ahsoka in The Mandalorian, in the Book of Boba Fett, but seeing this picture of, day one of the set, what were your thoughts and sort of what are you hoping to get from this series?
Oh, hugely excited. Like I said, I've loved Ahsoka since she first showed up in the Clone Wars movie. Yeah, it was the movie she first turned up in. And just the fact that we're getting a live action Ahsoka series is pretty mind blowing, really. Because if you had said that 5 years ago, we'd have gone absolutely no chance. Just the fact we're getting these series about these characters that we've obviously seen in animation. And obviously, there's rumors of who might be in the Ahsoka show, whether it's Sabine, Ezra, obviously Thrawn. I think he's pretty much nailed on with his name drop in Mando season 2. So just the fact that we're getting these characters who you would have thought years ago would never have a chance of appearing in a show is crazy to me. What I'd like to see in the show is just obviously what Kat said about the continuation of the story from Rebel season 4. Obviously, I'm just in the middle. I've just finished Rebel season 1 today. Actually, I was giving that a rewatch just in preparation for Kenobi, for like the Inquisitors stuff and all that type of thing. And so yeah, I hope we get a continuation of that. We find where Ezra's been, because it's pretty unclear how long he's been gone at this point, because everyone just thought it was straight after Return of the Jedi. But then, because everyone was saying, why is she in the white? And Dave said, oh, how do you know that scene is after where she is in Mando season 2? So he could have been gone for 10, 15 years at this point. We don't know, like how long Ezra's been gone, and how long, and other questions like how did she get off Malachor and all that type of thing. I don't know whether they'll answer that in the show, the Malachor thing, or whether we'll just pick up from obviously where we see her in season 2. Season 2 of The Mandalorian. But yeah, I've got huge amounts of questions that I'd like answered. But just the fact we're getting the Ahsoka show is amazing, and I really like the choice of Rosario Dawson as a character. I think she did really well in Mando season 2. There's a lot of expectations on that character, and I think she did really well. I like her as an actress as well, and yeah, so I can't wait to see where we go.
I think one of the things I love the most about this is, Dave Filoni's moved from animation to live action, but he's making the same decisions. He's using the same characters he would if he was making animation. He's not letting the medium change his philosophy, essentially. In Star Wars Rebels, he's building. He brought Thrawn from Legends into canon, in Rebels, and then I think here we go. He's probably going to take us back to Thrawn, back to Ezra, back to Ahsoka, back to these stories that he's started, that he's now going to finish. And I think that's absolutely wonderful that he's done that and being able to do that as well. That Kathy and the company's trusted him to do that. And when you look at how the company talk about Dave, I think they do have the utmost respect to him. He was George's right hand man. He was George Lucas's. You could say he was the heir. He was the guy George took under his wing, and Dave listened to everything George said, and he took all of that knowledge, all of that guidance. Really learned from George. Took that opportunity to do that, and here we see it paying off big time for Star Wars fans. I think one of the things I loved the cowboy hat on the side, as you said, Kat, a huge tease, and I loved the logo, the Ahsoka logo. So if that is going to be the official logo, I loved how there was the sort of one of the letters was designed a bit like the top of her staff that we see in the final sequence in Rebels, I believe.
Yeah.
So again, just more little subtle, beautiful little sort of intertwining lines that just blend all the Star Wars legendary stories together. So yeah, lots of awesome stuff. Yeah, I'm excited for Ahsoka. Production started. I think let's get going, because Kenobi's done, Andor's done. We believe Mando season 3 is done, or in the process of being done. But this one started. So exciting times. Moving from one Disney Plus show to another. Obviously the Kenobi full trailer dropped. Obviously me and Ian discussed it on the last episode. And there was a new poster as well. Kat, let's just get your thoughts. What was your thoughts on that sort of full official trailer that we got?
I absolutely love that trailer, and I couldn't get over I still think about it. Uncle Owen just grilling Obi-Wan with one line, and it was brutal, absolutely brutal. I completely felt for poor Obi-Wan in that moment because Uncle Owen just cut straight into him with that line of like you trained his father, and it's completely blown up on Twitter. The amount of different memes I've seen of different Star Wars characters with Uncle Owen grilling them, it's completely become a phenomenon, and it's it's quite funny. But back to the sort of more serious side of Kenobi, um, I love sort of the tone they really set with this trailer. It's sort of this. There is this lack of hope to it. It's very gritty. It's very dark. This is a time when the galaxy is fully in the grip of the Empire before the before the rebellion has really taken root. And I think you can see that because we see so much from Fortress Inquisitorius, more footage of the Inquisitors, and you can just see the power of the Empire in this trailer. And there's little teases of Obi-Wan on different worlds. Obi-Wan using a blaster. So he's clearly changed his mind about uncivilized weapons. And I think there was another character tease, like really, really briefly. So yeah, and that Darth Vader sort of tease right at the end where he's sort of being suited up and you can hear the breathing. I'm really excited for that because it's going to put a totally new meaning on that line from A New Hope when he says, he sort of mutters to himself basically of, a presence I haven't felt since. And that sentence was completely left open. I think that was the genius of George Lucas, is he dropped so many things into A New Hope already. I mean, we had the mention of the Clone Wars, which wouldn't come until decades later. But, George left all these openings for other elements of story, and Kenobi is going to fit perfectly into that because by having left that sentence open, fans originally assumed, we've always assumed it was Revenge of the Sith, but now it's leaving that perfect opening for Kenobi and clearly one last meeting before New Hope. So I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, I think the Vader tease I thought was fantastic. It was very much like, it was almost like the next step from Rogue One. We saw Vader in the back of the tank, but we didn't see him getting the suit on. But then, this is like, he's just come out of the back of the tank, and then this is how we put him together. So I thought that was really cool. Speaking of the memes, my favorite two of the Uncle Owen memes is Uncle Owen with Bo-Katan when she's like, the dark saber must be won in combat, and Uncle Owen says, like you won it from Sabine. Because obviously, as we all know, Sabine just handed it to her and she accepted it. And then my favourite one I saw today was it's Palpatine saying, "Isn't that ironic? He could roast others, but couldn't save himself from being roasted." And then it's the picture of obviously Uncle Owen and Bruce carcasses after being incinerated by the Empire. That's just my dog sense of humour movie.
Yeah, the amount of memes. There's been some really clever ones. I think my favourite so far has been the one on Mustafar where Anakin says to Padme, "Only my love can save you," and then Uncle Owen's there, like, "You saved your mother."
Yeah, it's pretty
Oh, dark. Ian, have you got a favourite Uncle Owen meme?
I haven't seen, to be fair, I must have missed all that. I didn't see that many. I'm just trying to think of what I saw. No, I didn't really see a lot of them there, but no, I'm enjoying hearing about them, to be fair.
Yeah, there's some really funny ones, some really dark sensitive ones as well, which I love. Yeah. Speaking, I know we talked about BD1 earlier as being a cute droid. Did you see the cute little sort of handheld droid that was a bit like a Pokemon but a droid?
I did, yeah. I saw that droid. Yeah, I know which one. He's a little pink droid.
Did you see, Kat?
Yeah, I did. It was very brief, and I mean, it looks completely new design and sort of really interesting. I'm not convinced there's been a pink droid in Star Wars before.
I think there has in the Clone Wars droid arc. I'm sure one of them droids was pink.
Yeah,
QT,
I
I think it was.
think you're right. It's either pink or sort of purple,
Yeah,
but it's nice to sort of see one in live action that's pink.
yeah, that's pretty cool.
I'm sure there's one droid that it was made in tribute to a girl who passed away, I believe, a fan, and it's pink, and then it's in the background of some of the movies, I believe. I don't know the whole story, but I've definitely heard that mentioned. But this is like a
Yes,
brand new droid that's been created from scratch.
yeah,
So yeah,
R2KT.
There's QT Katie.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, she was pink and she was belonged to Ayla Sakura, which is pretty cool.
did you like the fact that Kenobi's using blasters, but it's more out of the fact that anyone who's seen Star Wars Rebels knows how much of a big deal it is for Kanan to ignite that lightsaber, because as soon as you ignite that, the Empire's coming for you. So obviously Kenobi's trying to probably not ignite his lightsaber till he really needs to. I love the fact we saw Kenobi doing some sort of ground and pound hand-to-hand combat. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, he got his jiu-jitsu on.
He did indeed. I think Kat, you're right. The show looks, like the music and the sounds is very gritty. The action sequences look very dark and gritty, but the color palette I think is very prequel-esque. In which case, it looks absolutely beautiful. So it is dark and gritty, but it looks beautiful at the same time. So I really can't wait for this series. I think it's going to be absolutely fantastic. I thought that trailer, again, didn't give too much away, but it was enough to sort of absolutely tease and tantalize us and get us all excited. What did you make of the poster, Kat? Obviously, the new poster, it was sort of Kenobi, and then in the background, you've got Vader on the hill.
The poster is this sort of gorgeous, it almost actually has a Western feel to it, in the sense that it looks aged, and it's not quite, it's like a sepia tone, and it's one of the most muted Star Wars posters I think that's been released for a movie / television program. I do love how the fact that Obi-Wan still has the high ground on it, even though Vader's on this sort of like cliff top. Obi-Wan's still above him. Kudos to the art designers for still doing that.
And we've had sort of the Kenobi press tour this week. So they've been to Germany, they've been sort of all over Europe. They were in the UK. They were on the One show on BBC One. It was Moses Ingram who plays Reva, the third Sister Inquisitor. Obviously Hayden Christensen, Vader / Anakin, and Hugh McGregor. Obviously Obi-Wan Kenobi. And they were sort of on the One show for the full episode, where they're on the couch. But the episode sort of, the BBC advertised it the day before and asked for questions to get sent in. So it received like over thousands of replies on social media, and then for one reason or another, the show sort of wasn't timed correctly, in my opinion, and they only got a chance to ask sort of 2 questions to the 3 of them. To me, I just think they should have. You've got Hayden Christensen, who doesn't do a lot of press, on your sofa. You've got Hugh McGregor talking Star Wars, and you've got, Moses Ingram, who's new to the Star Wars universe, playing this brand new character who we don't know. I just don't know why you wouldn't set aside 10 minutes of your show to ask questions of those guys. And, the BBC would have been able to put that on YouTube or in articles and, make loads of revenue from the clicks. But instead, two questions got asked that weren't really that probing, and, weren't really that awesome. I just think the BBC missed the beat there big time, because I got home from work and put it on iPlayer excited, and then was sort of was still excited to see those 3 there looking awesome, but I was just like, people have sent in thousands of questions. Your team could have went through, picked the best ones, and did a 10-minute segment with them. I think that would have been the best way to go. Maybe we were just greedy Star Wars fans and we're craving what normal people don't want. Maybe we're being silly, but that's what I thought about that. Did any of you guys watch the One show?
I did not know. I didn't even know it had happened, mate. So you mentioned it before we came on, to be honest.
I didn't catch it, no. mainly because sort of the one show, it's this British television program, it's sort of a chat program. It's not really meant for the hardcore geeks like us, because they're there just sort of interviewing celebrities on a more casual basis, whereas we want the nitty gritty details. So I didn't bother watching it. Anything interesting, I'll just sort of, it will end up online somewhere, and that's usually where I find my info.
Speaking of info for Kenobi, Ian, I believe Deborah Chow has been quoted with a nice sort of juicy tease and quote this week. Do you want to let us know what Deborah Chow has been saying?
Like I said, I saw this on Twitter, so I can't 100% verify, but it was quoted up on some of the Star Wars websites that she said that old friends would return in, like something along these lines, would old friends turned enemies would appear in the Kenobi show, which is very interesting.
I hope it's Dexter.
Yeah. He's in Brotherhood, which is cool.
Oh, yay!
He's in Brotherhood.
Oh,
Not really a
little
spoiler, but yeah, he's in Brotherhood. He's in one of the first couple of chapters.
That had already been teased by Lucasfilm Publishing, I believe, on Twitter.
But I didn't,
That's not
okay.
a spoiler. but I mean, it's funny because like she could just be referring to Anakin and Obi-Wan, like old friends now enemies, but also could be talking about Cody.
Yeah, I think that's the big one.
Cody was Obi-Wan's friend. Now they're enemies. Could be Cody. It could be. I'm trying to think.
Quinlan Voss. No, the one.
I mean, it could be anybody who's we don't know. I mean, if Reva has a connection to Obi-Wan and knows who he was in the temple, maybe they had a friendship, and now she's an Inquisitor, so she's hunting him. So yeah, it's very, very vague, but very teasing and exciting. What's your thoughts, Kat, on that quote from Deborah Chow?
That's really interesting, because I'm just sitting here now thinking sort of who was Obi-Wan friends with, and he didn't really have a huge circle of friends, being a Jedi and sort of avoiding attachment. And the people he was friends with have either already turned to the dark side or dead, like poor Satine. So I can't really think of who that could be. I mean, it literally could just be a reference to Cody and Anakin. But it could be that there's going to be a surprise from some obscure episode of the Clone Wars. And there's going to be a character who Obi-Wan was friends with that we just can't think of off the top of our heads.
We will find out when the show is released at the end of the month. Obviously, Ian, you brought up Brotherhood, the brand new novel that just came out. You yourself have purchased the novel and have read a couple of chapters. Do you want to tell us what the novel's about and if you're enjoying it so far?
Basically, the novel is about. I am enjoying it so far. I've only read to like chapter 5 or 6, but I am enjoying it so far. It's very like a fast-paced writing style, which is cool. I like it. I think it's Mike Chen who's writing the book's first Star Wars novel. I think I'm not sure about that, but I'm pretty sure it is his first novel. The novel takes place in the opening weeks of the Clone Wars, and basically, I don't know who, because I haven't read the book yet. Someone has bombed the Trade Federation like headquarters on Cato Nemoidia and killed a lot of people. Like the Separatists are blaming the Republic saying it's Separatists. So Obi-Wan, I think, is sent to investigate who is behind this obviously terrorist attack on Cato Nemoidia.
So is this the book where that business on Cato Nemoidia does count?
Apparently so, yes. This will answer that obscure reference in Revenge of the Sith.
Fantastic. And we've already had Dex's Diner has already been in it, yeah?
Yeah, he goes to Dex's Diner in the opening couple of chapters to get information, because that's his guy. So yeah, no, it'd be interesting to see what that business of Cato Nemoidia was. I always thought it was from the old Legends book, Labyrinth of Evil, but now we've obviously got a canon story. So that's really exciting.
For me, if he's going to Dex's Diner, is that droid there? And does the droid offer him a cup of Jawa juice?
She doesn't offer him a cup of Jawa juice, but she is there and she does offer him food, yeah.
Oh, I love that droid. I think I don't know why, but just that line and the way the droid comes over, it's always stuck in my mind since 2002. It's 20 years later. and I still love it. Speaking of Mike Chen, who wrote Star Wars Brotherhood, there's a fantastic interview with him on Talking Bay 94. If you just search Talking Bay 94 podcast, you'll be able to find that interview with him. It was this week's episode. It came out on Wednesday, I believe. So yeah, a brilliant interview with Mike Chen. Definitely worth checking out if you've got time. That episode's just under an hour, so if you're on a commute, I definitely recommend it. Yeah, I think I'm excited to pick this book up. As we were talking about before we went live, I'm very behind in my Star Wars books, but still actively slogging away trying to get through it. So I'm just trying to get through the High Republic, but I want to pick this up and try and read it before Kenobi if I can. So time will tell whether I achieve that mission or not. Kat, are you going to pick this book up now that you are free from the grind of studying?
Absolutely. There's no Star Wars book I miss. And Brotherhood does sound amazing. I love seeing Obi-Wan and Anakin together and their friendship during the Clone Wars. That sort of that easy banter and the friendship they had was so wonderful. And finally having a canon story to answer that tiny little reference about Kate and Nemoidia is really exciting. And I love it when something like so small as that sort of one line can inspire a whole story just to answer the one line. So yeah, I'm really excited to pick up the book because I've heard absolutely everybody is raving about it. And yeah, I just I can't wait to get back into reading more Star Wars.
Speaking of books, some cover art was released for the upcoming book, The Princess and the Scoundrel. Ian, do you want to go ahead and let us know sort of what your first thoughts on? You've seen this artwork for the upcoming book.
I thought instantly Princess Leia, the Courtship of Princess Leia. It looks. I think I've got the book here on my shelf here. Wait, let me just have a look. It looks exactly the same. It's really cool. It gave me very much like I've never actually read the Courtship of Princess Leia. I've got it on my shelf. I do need to read it, but yeah, no, it gave me just old expanded universe vibes from like how they used to do their covers and that. I used to really love the old expanded universe covers. So yeah, it gave me heavy vibes of that, and I read the little like description of what the story's about, and it sounds pretty cool. And I'll definitely be picking up just for the cover alone.
Kat, what's your thoughts on the cover, and then also what are your thoughts on the premise of the book?
Absolutely agree with Ian there. Completely gives me the Courtship of Princess Leia vibes, which does make sense because the stories are somewhat similar. The Courtship of Princess Leia deals with Han trying to impress Leia to marry him, which involves a completely illegal game of sabacc, winning an entire planet, and kidnapping Leia. But the news book by Beth Revis doesn't have any of that, but it does involve their wedding on Endor, which would be lovely to see because I think it's briefly mentioned it's even briefly mentioned in Aftermath or Shattered Empire. And we know that Lando Calrissian married them straight away on Endor, so it'd be lovely to see that. And then that link to the Halcyon Star Cruiser will be so great because that also links to the current comic series going on, Halcyon Legacy, where so many of the characters have been on that ship. So it'd be nice to have another Star Wars, more of a romantic love story, because those are rare within the canon universe, and Han and Leia is probably the favorite Star Wars couple. So it's a beautiful cover for a wonderful sounding book, and I can't wait for that to be released. I can't wait for every Star Wars book. I need them all right now.
Definitely agree with that.
A beautiful cover for a beautiful couple, for a beautiful love story. Don't forget, they end up separated.
I know. See, my favourite couple in Star Wars is that couple from the Bad Batch. I swear they're a couple. They're always arguing in Thingy's bar. I swear they're a couple. The Authorian
my
and
favourite.
the Weak Way.
My favorite are the frogs from The Mandalorian. I think that's the cutest Star
Yeah,
Wars
they are
love
good. Yeah,
story.
they are. But yeah, I definitely think that couple. I definitely think that the two guys who are always fighting in the bar in the Bad Batch, they're definitely a couple, 100%.
I don't know who my favorite couple would be. Maybe, I don't know, because Star Wars is tragedy. Like all these couples, it doesn't end well.
No.
Obi-Wan Satine doesn't end well. Anakin Padme doesn't end well. Han Leia doesn't end well.
Even in the old EU, Luke and Mara Jade didn't end well.
Doesn't end well. You know,
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to actually. Now you mention it, I'm trying to actually remember a couple that actually does work out in Star Wars.
I don't think there is one apart from those frogs.
Even like
that's so far till we
even
get season 3.
Even Bale and Brea Organa, they stay married, but they end up getting killed by the Death Star. So it's still bad.
Kat, what would happen if like the frogs get like attacked in season 3 Mandalorian?
That's it. I wouldn't watch season 4. I am sick and tired of all the tragedy. I need one happy ending in Star Wars.
That's literally it. They're the only couple who, because I doubt we'll see them again. So yeah, at least there's them.
Moving on from that one, we've got Shadows of the Sith. Ian, I believe there's some concept art and some more information around that novel. Do you just want to remind the viewers what the novel's about, then let us know that there's this new news about it?
So the novel is about, obviously in The Rise of Skywalker, we found out that Luke and Lando were on the trail of Ochi of Bestoon, who obviously kills Rey's mum in The Rise of Skywalker. And they're on the trail trying to find Exegol. So this takes place roughly, I think it's about, I can't remember whether they said it was 6 years after Return of the Jedi. No, it can't be. But anyway, it takes time, obviously, between the gap between Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens. And basically, Luke and Lando are on the trail of Ochi of Bestoon, who are trying to find Exegol, because obviously Luke knows something obviously is going on Exegol, but obviously can't find the way there, because the Wayfinders and all that type of stuff. In the first excerpt, Luke goes to Tython and sits on the Seeing Stone that we see in The Mandalorian and ends up transported. It's unclear whether he's transported there, whether it's a vision, but he ends up on Exegol and he's attacked by these like Sith wraiths, like we get in like Lord of the Rings and that type of thing. So yeah, so it's all about the search for Exegol and obviously what that story entails with Luke and Lando teaming up, which is a likely team up, which is cool. Obviously, ever since I was mentioned The Rise of Skywalker, I was interested to find out what that story was about. So the new thing that was released the other day was another excerpt, and it released a poster of the new Sith menace in this show, and it says that if you've read the canon books, you should be aware of this character, and so yeah, that's what the new stuff is.
What's your first inklings into, obviously, Ian, sometimes refer to it as the Canon Junkie XL. You read a lot of these Star Wars books, certainly faster than I do. What's your thoughts on who this Sith presence could be?
It's been a while, but going way back to like 2015, there was these interludes in the Aftermath trilogy, which is obviously the first big trilogy of books since Disney obviously bought Star Wars, and there was these interludes about a group called the Acolytes of the Beyond, which were like dark side cultists, and there was a character in one of the interludes called Kiza, who ended up. I can't remember if she was. She must be, but I can't. There was something weird going on with her, but she wasn't that force sensitive. But then she put on a mask of an old ancient Sith Lord. I can't remember what his name was. Like Viceroy something, and the screams of his victims were in this mask, and as soon as she put the mask on, she turned into like quite powerful and killed someone who was a rival of hers. Yeah, so that gave it away in the new excerpt, because it says about the mask with all the screams in it. So yeah, I do think it is Kiza from the Aftermath trilogy, which is cool because along with Cobb Vanth, the Acolytes of the Beyond was my favourite interludes in that book. I thought they were really interesting, and then obviously it felt like their story kind of got dropped and it wasn't going anywhere. So if we get a continuation of the Acolytes of the Beyond, sorry, I forgot the name for a quick second. That'll be really cool. Along with the Knights of Ren, I've got so many questions about them because obviously when we were talking about the Crimson Reign comic the other day as well, the Knights of Ren have got some huge potential for their backstory as well that was mentioned in Crimson Reign. So yeah, I think it's really cool.
Yeah, I think for me, I haven't read the Aftermath trilogy. I think, the Acolytes of the Beyond, or just in some of the interludes, they're not a huge part of the book, but they're one of those things that stick with you in your brain. And the fact that they haven't done much with them since, it's been a bit disappointing. But the fact that we're going to get some payoff here is fantastic. I love the whole thing with the Sith, the Jedi, the good guys can become ghosts and roam freely. The Sith do have an afterlife sort of thing, but they're tied to objects. As we've seen in the Vader comic with some of the stuff Vader collects at his castle, like the Sith ghosts are tied to objects. I believe in the Clone Wars, Darth Bane, his ghost tied to that planet and that area of that planet. So yeah, very very cool myth and lore for the Sith there, and I hope it does come in. Kat, are you excited to pick up Shadows of the Sith?
Yes, it's promising a lot as a book. Alan Christopher is a fantastic Star Wars author. His previous Star Wars books have all been so good, and picking up on this little teaser, from the Aftermath trilogy, which was really underrated. The Aftermath trilogy is so underrated, but it has sort of inspired elements of the sequel trilogy. It's had repercussions in other canon novels. To see it actually inspiring a full-length novel is so great. And yeah, it was interesting there what you were saying about the dark side objects influencing characters, because that was an element of the Lando Calrissian comics from, I want to say 2016. Don't hold me to that date. Where he actually steals the Emperor's yacht, and aboard the Emperor's yacht are a ton of Sith relics, and they make all of Lando's crew go absolutely bonkers. Every relic sort of just inspires them to be evil and bloodthirsty, and only he and Lobot actually get off alive. And I think that mask that possibly Kiza's going to be wearing is sort of that sort of same influence of, you don't have any power before, but as soon as you put the mask on, you end up with all that dark side influence, and it sort of rots your brain and turns you into like a dark side zombie.
Yeah, I love that. I'm excited to get more sort of dark side lore in that Star Wars Acolyte TV show that we're going to be getting. And obviously looking forward to getting some dark side lore, hopefully in the Shadows of the Sith book. That brings it into sort of all the topics I've got to discuss. Before we dive into merchandise buys, is there anything further you want to discuss, Ian, news-wise?
No, not really, mate. Like I said, just looking forward to Celebration. Like I said, I think we spoke about last time, the Crimson Reign comic the other day was pretty cool. That got into the Knights of Ren's backstory and all that type of thing. All what they're pretending to be at the time to obviously avoid detection from the Sith, which is interesting to find out what they used to be. I do think there is potential there for like a Charles Soule to do a Knights of Ren novel, like he did with like Light of the Jedi. I think that would be class. Just to get some backstory, like anything Sith dark side related, because we don't get a lot of lore about it in the canon. Obviously, in the Legends timeline, we obviously had the Darth Bane trilogy, we had Darth Plagueis, which is still to this day my favourite Star Wars novel of all time. But yeah, I hope we start filling in the gaps with some dark side lore. But other than that, no, that's all I've got to say.
Kat, anything we missed? Any rumours or any stories that you've read about that we haven't covered?
Not particularly, but in preparation for the Kenobi series in the month, people might want to pick up the new Obi-Wan comics by Christopher Cantwell and Ario Anindito that are the first one is out now, which I have read, and it's such a good story. And I think if you want to get back into the the journal of Obi-Wan Kenobi and sort of seeing some of his past before the show, then this is a great comic series to pick up.
I've read that too. Yeah, it's really fun.
You'll have to tell us all about it once we finish recording, because I'm probably not going to pick it up, but I do want to know about it. Okay, let's dive into some merchandise buys. You've been purchasing any Star Wars products this past week?
Well, just as we were talking then, I went on eBay and looked at the Obi-Wan Kenobi poster, so I do think I'll pick that up sooner rather than later to go on my wall at home, which would be pretty cool. Brotherhood, like we said, I picked that up. I picked Brotherhood up, and I'm pretty sure I've got a Cobb Vanth Black Series figure ordered for June from Star Wars Figures, which would be sick. Like I said, I've loved that character ever since the first interlude in the Aftermath trilogy. But other than that, I said the other day that I got the trade paperback of Dark Empire, like from the 90s, which is pretty cool. And other than that, mate, no, that's all I've got at the moment.
And I know you've got a couple of the Black Series helmets.
I do, yeah.
I do know that they are releasing the Bo-Katan one soon.
Yeah.
That's getting really good reviews. What's your overall thoughts on the Black Series helmets as a whole? Like, are they good? Because I'm thinking about when I'm in the middle. Well, I'm going to be moving house soon, hopefully, and I'm thinking about getting myself a helmet for the new house. So, is that Black Series line good?
Yeah, they are good. I've got the Kylo Ren one from way back when the Force Awakens first came out, which I do love, and I've also got Mando's helmet, which is cool as well. The dog doesn't like it; he barks at me when I put it on, which is another story, to be fair. But yeah, he's not a fan of the Mando. But no, they are really good. The one I saw the other day that really did tempt me, but I can't afford it at the moment. Obviously, we're saving for the wedding, was the Mandalorian Death Watch one. That one I'd definitely get. It looks so good, like the Death Watch one. It's from the flashbacks in Mando season 1. That looked amazing. That one, like I would be properly tempted to get the Death Watch one.
Yeah, so I definitely want to maybe get the helmet for when I get my new house. So I'll have a look. I'll see what's coming out. Kat, any lovely purchases for yourself this past week, or even longer than the week? I know we haven't spoken in a couple of weeks, so.
I just got myself Star Wars Midnight Horizon by Daniel Jose Older, and the other High Republic novel by Justina Ireland.
Out of the Shadows?
That's the one.
Yeah. I just looked behind
me.
Oh, no,
hang on. No, it's not. Hang on. It's the middle grade one that she did, which I'm trying to remember off the top of my head.
Courage?
The one after A Test of Courage. Oh.
I don't have that one, I'm guessing.
Oh, now I'm just trying to scramble now and think about it. Oh, Mission to Disaster.
Oh, right, yeah. I haven't got that one, to be fair. I do need to get that.
Yes, that one. So I just got those two. And I just picked up from my local Tesco the Total Film magazine for this month, which is the Kenobi special. And it has a fantastic interview with Ewan McGregor, Hayden Christensen, and Moses Ingram. And it also comes with 4 gorgeous A4 prints of concept art from the Kenobi show, printed on lovely cardstock, and it's a one that they're lovely prints, but 2, it's a fascinating interview, and it's just got me more excited for the series at the end of the month.
Fantastic! You've had a busy time, Kat. You've been spending some cash. I as you all know, I usually have something new. So I had a package arrive. I think it was a couple of days ago. I've only just got it because it went to a neighbour's house. I haven't opened it yet, but it is from the Star Wars Celebration store. I'm not going to Star Wars Celebration, but the lovely Savannah over at the Dorky Diva show placed an order for myself. So I believe in that package I should have a Star Wars Celebration Anaheim Chaos t-shirt. I should have the 20th anniversary Clone Wars baseball top, and I should have a Attack of the Clones 20th anniversary cap as well. So I'll be posting those on social media when I do open it. And then obviously just last weekend there, I was at the Star Wars Fan Fun Day in Blackburn at Ewood Park, Blackburn Rovers Football Club. Obviously the home of where Alan Shearer won his Premier League. Get up, Big Al. Fantastic event. I loved it. I've actually wrote a review of the Star Wars Fan Fun Day, which is on JediNews.com now. You can find it on there. And while I was there, I did pick up a vintage Star Wars figure. It is the Walrus Man, so it is Ponda Baba. Obviously with sort of the blue limbs, the orange middle, and the sort of the green head and hands, with blaster as well. So it was loose, obviously. You know, I'm not buying mint on card vintage figures. I'm certainly not that rich. And the wife would kill me. So yeah, I picked him up for £15. He looks in pretty good condition. Little bit of wear in a few places, but not too bad. Limbs seem stiff enough. And he came with a blaster, so yeah, really glad I picked that up. Just adding slowly to the vintage collection there. And I also got my Black Series Greedo 50th anniversary Lucasfilm in the Power of the Force packaging figure signed by Paul Blake. So that was fantastic as well. But that's pretty much it for my merch buys. I need to pick up Brotherhood. I'm going to be going on holiday in 2 weeks' time to Turkey for a week. I'll actually be in Turkey when celebration's happening, so I'm looking forward to having some beers by the pool in the heat, watching the live stream on an iPad, hopefully. So yeah, I'm hoping to pick up Star Wars Brotherhood. Maybe I can read that before I go, and then I can catch up on the High Republic books while I'm on holiday is the plan. But as you all know, I'm not the best Star Wars reader. I have the best intentions. I buy all the books, but then I fall away when I can't make time for them. But yeah, that's all from me. Kat, where can the people find you on social media?
You can find me at Cat Kylo on Twitter. Always happy to talk Star Wars and anything Kylo Ren.
Iain, where can the people find you on social media?
You can find me at Twitter at Star Wars Iain on Twitter. And that's like Kylo, like Kat. I'll talk to anyone about Star Wars.
Spot on. Also, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Geordie Jedi Pete. You can find the podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Star Wars Podcast. You can find the podcast on Twitter at BorsStar. Thank you very much for listening. Remember, guys, be kind to everyone you meet. May the Force be with you all. And remember, always tell that to Kanja Club.
Hello, Star Wars listeners. This is Savannah Odit. You might know me as host of The Dorky Diva Show with my co-host Brian Balance. I am also producer of The Adventures of the Zolan Dart, which is a Star Wars-inspired audio drama that we produced over the last year. If you love stories about smugglers, courage, heroic characters, and maybe a few foes along the way, you should go to thedorkydivashow.com and listen to The Adventures of the Zolan Dart today.
Shout! We've got your pigs.
Were any of the critters harmed?
What did you do now?
I didn't do anything. I just freaked out for no reason.
It was nice doing business with you again. Maybe next time we could deliver something less temperamental.
Now, what you call temperamental, I call fun.
Hey, is there a place nearby where I can make some repairs?
3 clicks south of here, you'll find a small spaceport. They should have what you need, as long as it's nothing too big.
Dynamic class? My stars, you don't hear about many of those still being space-worthy.
It's been in my family for a while.
She's pretty great. Any chance you have a hover cart we can use to load up?
I'll check out the HoloNet to see if anything new has come up in the sector.
My name is Sereth Khan. I am the chief here on Kamai. My people and I have been experiencing food shortages as of late due to unforeseen natural occurrences. We are looking to hire someone.
I say we take this one. The pay is great, and it's the type of job we're familiar with.
Welcome. You must be Captain Otoa. I've already sent word to Pac 2 to expect you in the next cycle or so.
You told him we were coming before we even accepted the job. That's rather presumptuous, isn't it?
Perhaps, though once I received confirmation that you were interested and on your way here, I couldn't help but hope.
Fair enough. Well, we'll be back as soon as we can.
Well, that's not good.
Is that blaster fire I hear?
So you're the one.
Captain, it sounds like they want to do this the hard way.
I love when they got some fight in them.
This is bad. This is bad. We're about to have a lot of company.
I'll see you soon.